Every month, Governor Green stops by to talk about the issues affecting our state and his thoughts moving forward. He joins us now once again to talk about that. Good morning, Governor. Welcome back. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
I do want to talk about the year in review and kind of looking ahead to 2024. But before we get to that, let's talk about the issues going on right now. Let's start with Lahaina and the latest that's been happening there.
Sure. As everyone knows, it's been 4 months since the tragedy. Something extraordinary happened in the first 2 weeks. We got everyone into hotels, but now we have to transition to get everyone into long-term rentals. So you'll see a ton of activity in the next 2 weeks from the mayor's team, FEMA, and myself. We need 3,000 units to kind of step up. In other words, people to change their short-term rentals to long-term rentals. The mayor's put in some major incentives. We will make sure people are essentially whole. What they got in the previous year, they would get again if they rent out their short-term rental. Plus, he's putting a tax break in place so that people will not have to pay property taxes. We need these 3,000 units to get people into a stable place because there's a lot of depression. There's a lot of struggling and suffering. So if anyone's out there on Maui and they have a unit, please enter this program. Talk to FEMA, talk to the mayor's office. We have to have 3,000 units. Otherwise, after the new year, I may have to take dramatic action and pause short-term rentals on Maui. Not something we want to do, but we want to make sure that we have housing for people.
Now, you say you need 3,000. Can you say, or do you know how many % of that do you already have, or how much more you do need?
Most of it. It's a small number right now, although everyone is working really feverishly to get those units into place. But I think that people were waiting to see whether something would magically fall into place. Well, there's no magic to a recovery. Recovery requires people to sacrifice and share the sacrifice. In this particular case, though, the plan is good. People will not lose any resource if they switch their short-term rental to a long-term rental, but we have to have that for the 3,000 families that were displaced. Then we'll start rebuilding. We'll build Ohana units. We'll build long-term housing. But it's important that we do this because we're not going to let people be homeless.
I know you talked about just right now about housing over on Maui. What about housing statewide? I know that was part of your agenda, you know, coming into this administration. What can we expect?
Top priority, really. So I'm going to keep the emergency proclamation in place until we get adequate results. We did approve last year 10,800 units of public housing. That was one of our signature achievements, but we need to move toward 50,000 units for the state of new housing. Now, interestingly, the question has kind of been put right in front of us. Why do we have too few units in our state for our local people? Because short-term rentals, unfortunately, are really occupying a large amount of that space. We need to, over time, gradually move short-term rentals to long-term rentals. That could be half of our solution, so there'll be incentives and probably a change in the tax structure, if I have my way, to help get those units to our local families. But we have to build a lot also. We have done a lot of housing starts. We want to do it in the urban core and along the rail.
Looking back on 2023, what do you think has been the biggest achievement for your administration?
Well, we actually addressed some of the fundamental concerns in our state. A couple big achievements. Education, we increased the teachers' pay by about 20% so that they can actually afford to live in Hawaii, so that our kids can get teachers that have known Hawaii and are familiar with Hawaii. Our local teachers have to be able to stay. Major movement on healthcare providers, loan forgiveness for nurses and physicians and social workers, because there's been so much in the way of shortage of physicians and healthcare providers. Those were 2 big signature, I guess, achievements. Also, Red Hill. We're 6 months ahead of schedule draining Red Hill. We've now drained 99.85% of Red Hill. That will finish off in the early part of 2024, and then we'll close it for good. So all those things are important, but at the end of the day, housing is going to continue to be our priority. Because there was an economic downturn as a result of the Maui wildfire and also just too exuberant projections into the future, that's kind of settled down as far as our economy goes. We have enough money. We're being safe and careful. It's why I did some line item vetoes last May. But like I said, we're going to focus on housing, and we're going to look at affordability for our local residents. And then finally, next year, expect a couple things. We're going to still fight for tax breaks for ALICE families, people who are living right on the edge. And also, we need to address climate change. So a climate impact fee and resources to deal with fires, not just on Maui, but all across the state. Waikoloa, West Oahu. There's fire risks in a lot of places because of some of the global warming effect. We have to address that. And so what I'd like to see is us use some of the resources, either from taxing short-term rentals or, frankly, from TAT, the Transient Accommodation Tax, when visitors come, to help address their impact.
What is that climate impact fee?
A climate impact fee, which a lot of nations are doing, but America has not done yet, would take money from travelers, some small amount, What I proposed initially was a $50 fee for any traveler that comes to Hawaii, but that proved somewhat complicated. The TAT tax is very basic, that or just fees on really people coming and staying in short-term rentals and taking all of our housing. That money can be used for firefighters, for positioning fire equipment, for doing fire breaks, for dealing with the impacts of global warming and sea level rise. All of this has to happen. I mean, that's the future. We might as well be the state that leads the way.
Finally, hard to believe 2023 is already coming to an end. You talked about your achievements. What do you think was the biggest disappointment for you?
The biggest disappointment was that people in some parts of the policy discussion didn't trust that we would move forward smoothly and safely on housing. So there were lawsuits. I really think that they get in the way. All I'm trying to do is build housing, like I said, in areas that we should build anyway, that we've already pre-approved housing, but we have to accelerate it because our housing system is broken. The permitting takes too long. We can't get development going. And then when we don't have houses, our local families move to the mainland. We're not trying to populate Nevada and Las Vegas. We're trying to populate key places here in our state so we have a workforce, so we have nurses and doctors and firefighters. I really wish people on the other side of that issue would just try to work with us. We will push and push and push because everyone knows that we have to have housing in our state for our local families. And then finally, you will see us move rapidly towards about 12 kauhale in our state to help the homeless. We've been doing that. We have 4 or 5 of them going right now. That's a pretty good program, and I'm really honored to have had such great help across the board for that.
You talked about lack of trust. Do you plan to take other steps to help improve that trust?
Well, we did that actually. You know, when there was some conflict, we pulled back a couple of the rules so that there really shouldn't be any dissent on the housing group that we have. We called it the Build Beyond Barriers. So we made sure that there are sunshine opportunities for meetings. We made sure that we're not going to move away from any environmental protection. We never were in the first place. So all that was already there. But there is a kind of deeply rooted opposition to building housing in the state from a few groups. And because they constantly block it, all the rest of our people suffer. And usually it's people that don't have a lot of money to afford a home, but it's everybody. Because you know why you can't get a doctor's appointment? Because we can't attract doctors. You know why it's so hard to fight fires? Because the firefighters are working double and triple time because they can't afford housing. So I'm going to keep pushing on that. I know it's right, and I hope everyone will come on board. But sometimes it takes a little time, and we have been definitely convincing people that that's the right way. But look to this question about short-term rentals. That's going to be an issue. We have a huge number. There's 25,000 short-term rentals on Maui right now. Yet we can't find easily 3,000 of them to go and house the people that were displaced. That's just not right. And so that has to be fixed.
Okay, and I'm sure we'll hear much more coming up next month. State of the State coming up next month. Governor Green, thank you so much for joining us, and
Thank you.
happy holidays.
You too.
Thank you. All right, coming up next.